Hello, my name is Alice, and I was asked a question to name an event, circumstances that happened in your life that at the time it seemed like it was a tragedy, but yet it proved to be something that proved to be a blessing later on. And so I had to really stop and think about that question for a minute. And at first I couldn't figure out, what was something bad that happened that later came out to be good. So then I figured out what it was. So here it goes. Back in 2008, I was pretty much not a well bird. I had some severe back issues. They say degenerative disc disease. I had like spondylolisthesis, which is kind of like the spine, just jacked up basically, all these technical words. But anyway, long story short, I went through a journey of really trying to do what's the word I want to say? The natural approach to helping my back, because I was really, really scared to have surgery. I was supposed to have back surgery several times, and each time I chickened out and said, nope, not going to do it. So in my journey, I was finding any book that I could to help me on that road to finding out some alternatives. So that was back in 2008. By 2010, I kind of really was getting the hang of it. I still hadn't mastered it. I had learned that eating the foods that I was eating was really the cause of me being in the pain. One of the books that I found, Acid Alkaline, that was a book that kind of helped me to see that if I eat acidic foods, that acid is going to be in my system, and that acid is what's going to cause me pain in my body. So when I really established that it was the acid foods that I was eating, I kind of changed my whole diet. I turned it around. And basically, I started eating more raw foods. I started eating vegetables raw. I was learning how to do green drinks. So green drinks were my breakfast of choice. And I was making improvements. I was able to, in the process, slowly get out of the wheelchair and slowly get off the cane and all of those other things. So in 2011, an unfortunate something happened in my marriage. My husband and I separated. And 2 days after we separated, he cut me off of medical insurance. Now, that was a big pill to swallow, because at the time I was on a lot of medication that I was weaning off. But for those of you that know, medication is not cheap. I remember having a box of patches that cost $160 for 1 month's supply. And right now I don't remember what Vicodins cost, what Darvocets cost. I don't remember the cost of the medications, but I was on 8 of them. And I know it was pretty expensive. But when you have medical insurance, you really don't think about the cost, because you're just paying a copay. That copay might be $5, $3, $2, depending on, your insurance carrier. So that was a pretty big deal, to be cut off of medical insurance, knowing that you got some health challenges. But I didn't worry. I really honestly didn't. Yeah, it happened. Yeah, I was hurt. Yeah, I was like, wow, really? But it's okay. I didn't feed into the energy. I just knew I was on the path of trying to do the right things by learning and reading things that can help me to better my health. For me, I feel that the book, which was called Body Reflexology, I got that book from the Goodwill. It was like an 80-cent book. Let me get it. This particular book right here, it saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of pain. I found that I could naturally help stop a lot of pain that I was enduring in my body using these different reflex tools, using my reflex roller and my reflexology gloves. That was a start. So even though I was cut off from my medical insurance, I started learning about alternatives. So for me, the alternative was I need to do this. I need to learn everything I can, from reflexology to homeopathy to herbs and all of those things, because that's what's going to help me to not worry about being cut off of medical insurance. So even though it was a tragedy, the blessing is because of that incident in my life, now I have truly mastered my health. And it has proved to be true. Last year, I had spent some time in the Dominican Republic. I really was trying to, well, I always stay a month in the Dominican Republic in February, March. And I do that because the winters here in Michigan can be quite brutal. It's cold. And I'm afraid to fall again. And I don't think I can afford to fall with my spine being messed up like it is. So I want to be able to help myself to do better, to be better. And okay, I found myself when I came back from the Dominican this last time in 2019, there was an incident where people were dying. I don't know why or what was going on, but I got real sick when I came back in March of 2019. And I was getting sicker and sicker, and I didn't know what was going on, and I thought maybe I caught a bug or some sort when I was there in the Dominican. But thanks to all of the different herbal books that I have at my disposal, I was able to look up some information. I went to an unorthodox doctor. He basically was a PhD doctor, but he dealt with biophysicists. And so he did a biophysics test on me, and the culprit that he found out what was going on in my body is that it was candida. My teeth, or should I say my gums, literally swelled up to the top of my teeth. That's what made me know I need to get to a doctor. Something was wrong. I wasn't feeling good, and I just feel that had I not got to the bottom of it, that I definitely would have passed away. Especially, now that we're in COVID, I was glad to learn about candida, the foods that incite it, the sugars that feed it, and to make sure you get your gut in check. Get your gut in check. So I just want to elaborate a little bit on candida. I never really knew how serious candida really is. Last year I had went through a bout where I was very sick, and I really just didn't know what it was. My primary care physician diagnosed me as having polymyalgia rheumatica, and I actually didn't know what the world that was, but it was an illness where you swell up. And I was having problems in my shoulders, where my shoulders would swell. I would get stabbing pains that I couldn't even sleep. That's how bad it was. But polymyalgia rheumatica has to do with a lot of inflammation in the body. And I was just swelling like nobody's business, and it was just a painful time in my life. So when I went to the other doctor to get another opinion of what was going on, he basically told me that what I really had was candida. And candida, for me, was just overrunning in my body. So the bad bacteria actually was taking over. And because it was taking over, it was literally shutting down my immune system. Little by little, slow but sure, it was attacking me from within. So I learned that when you have candida, if you don't have your gut health in check, that the good bacteria really can get beat up, so to speak, by the bad bacteria. And the bad bacteria in your gut, it overruns and it takes over, it destroys, and it's like we're the host, but it's like killing the host. And I thought, wow, that's pretty huge. But to add insult to injury, I also learned, as an lacto-vegetarian, that all the foods that I had been eating for nearly 30-something years, I was allergic to lectins. I had never heard of the word lectins, but lectins has to do, I guess, like in the bean family. It's something that's in wheat. It's something that's in beans. Uh-oh, I think I see a bee. Oh, sorry about that. It's something that's in some of our food that it doesn't agree with me. So long story short for me, oh my, this bee is getting me. Long story short on that, I had to revamp my whole diet. And the diet basically consisted of, for me, was just broccoli. That was the only food that I really could eat that didn't make me sick, because everything I was eating, I was getting sick, I was hurting, and I was like, I know I can't continue to go on in that state. So broccoli was the food of choice for about almost like 3 weeks or so. I was just eating up a steamed broccoli. That was it. That was all I was gonna eat, because I knew that particular food didn't bother me. Ooh. So I did that, and it really did help as far as my food is concerned, where I wasn't feeling sick from the other foods. So as I dissected my menu of what I can eat that don't make me sick, revamping everything, I found that I was getting a little better. I found different herbs that could help me to regain my immunity back, because when you lose your ability to fight off things, that's when you really can get very, very sick. And so I just tried to do everything that I could to live. You know, no one wants to die, but I really felt so ill to the point where I felt like I could have. And so herbs has just been something in my life that's been a big portion. Every day I'm taking herbs that help strengthen my immune system, to help me so that I never have that problem with gut problems anymore. I don't ever want candida, ever, if I can help it. And the culprit for me at the time, I used to love fig bars. So I was always eating fig bars, thinking, oh, well, I don't eat this and I don't eat that. That was kind of like my snack. But those fig bars like to kill myself. Not cool. So no more fig bars. I haven't had that in over a year. But I really feel that I'm grateful and thankful that I was able to combat the candida, be restored to health naturally. And the doctor that I saw, he helped put me on the right path. And it was something that he shared that I thought was amazing. He said that all of the symptoms that I had, you know, my blood work was bad, pressure was bad, everything. I just had a bad report from my regular doctor. And he said they would have had a field day with me because of all of the things and problems. And polymyalgia rheumatica really resembled lupus. So I was like 2 symptoms away from having lupus, and I'm like, that was not cool. So I just wanted to share the elaboration of candida. In a moment, I'll show you a collection of all the books that I use to help restore me to wellness. And you'll notice it was not in just one book. I had to go through several books to find the answers to help me through the medical crisis that I found myself in last year. And I am grateful, thankful for the privilege to be able to read and comprehend and understand that there are alternatives out there. And I really dug deep to find it, and I did find it. And to this day, I am truly grateful for that privilege. These are all my tools that I used for my wellness regimen. You can see all the books that I internalized, all the herbal books. I even had a book by Dick Gregory. I believe it was called Natural Diet for Folks Who Eat, which is all of us. Then I had the Eat Right for Your Body type. I'm a blood type O, so there's certain foods that blood type O's can't eat, that it bothers you naturally. And then the book, the Reflexology Manual. So these are all the books that I use to get better and redefine myself naturally. Last but not least, I just want to share that in my journey to wellness, in creating the Wellness Genius. Just the other day, I had been thinking about my course that I'm going to be coming up with, a course called Step into Your Wellness 101. Right now I have 8 modules that I'm developing. It's not completed yet, but I will definitely reach out, and for those that want to know, just go to www.thewellnessgenius.com and kind of just keep checking here and there, and eventually I'm going to finish it. But I think I want to get it done, I'm going to say within a month to 2 at the latest, because I'm working on it now. I'm writing and kind of formulating my thoughts, doing a brain dump. So that's something that I'm going to be doing, and I am really excited about getting this out. You know, Step into Your Wellness 101, just a step-by-step journey of how, no matter where you're at, we all can improve our health. So I just feel to be able to come and talk about something that happened that did not work out, not having the insurance, and then to learn how to pretty much heal myself naturally, that is a great blessing. It's a blessing to know that I have herbs that can help protect me. I know COVID is out, and for me, I'm not worried about it because I take things to strengthen my immune system. There's one herb that I take. It's kind of like it's called an anti-plague, and basically it happened years back when people were grave robbing, and with the grave robbing, they was wondering how come they were getting sick. And so it was like, you either tell us what you're doing to not get sick, or you're going to have the death penalty. Now that's just a little short story that I heard, but it made sense that people can be immune to certain things because of some of the herbs that they take. So I was like, hey, I think that I need to have that in my medicine cabinet. And so I do. I take that particular product every single day to help me to build immunity. I've had pneumonia several times, and I just swore, hey, I'm not going out like that. I'm going to not eat mucus forming foods. So yes, that was a good question. What do you find in your life that was a tragedy that now has proved to be a blessing? So no insurance, tragedy, learning about how to restore your health naturally, blessing. So that's all I got, and I hope that you can benefit from this video. Thank you.